Hello to the lovely people of the interwebs. My name is Chimso. This is Chimsology. Today, I'm talking about the process I'm going through about the process I'm going through becoming an economist. Before we get to the video, I just want to show my outfit. This is when I got home. I was wearing Crocs. That's important. The Crocs are important. This was the outfit with the glasses. This is what I look like going to school today, being an economist and all. Um, it is 11:20. I need the light to adjust. This is harsh. One of these days, I'm gonna get a better camera, and recording is going to be better. But it's 11:20. I had two back-to-back, basically 3-hour classes on Thursday, but today we got out early because it's the first day. And my last class ends at 10 p.m. and it's like a 45-minute drive to come home. Last year, though, I had classes 3 times a week that all ended at 10. So now this year, I only have one class, like one day a week where I'm coming home this late. So I'm very happy about that. But it's late and I'm tired and I'm hungry. I didn't eat that much in between because my first class is 4 to 7. Then the next class, it's like a 15-minute walk across campus, is like 7:30 to 10. So I'm hungry, but I'm here. And we're going to talk. We're going to talk about me becoming an economist. So this is my first week of classes. I think I posted a video yesterday about it. Today was my second day. And, I love my job. No, I really do. I love my program so much. I love it so much. I love the fact that I decided to pursue a PhD, and I love the fact that I ended up in the program that I'm in because me and my program are like 1 and 2, just ideologically, and how like I approach economics and how a lot of the people in the department approach economics. It's kind of the approach that I just naturally gravitated towards in undergrad when I was learning about economics and thinking about it a lot. And if you're not in the field of economics or you don't know all of this discussions that are going on, there's a certain, I'm not going to get into it now because it's late and I'm tired and I can't think, but there's a certain approach to economics that is dominant. Like there's a stronghold within the field, both within academia and also people that work in government, work in organizations, different things like that, which has certain assumptions, which is a little bit of what I'm going to be talking about. Certain assumptions that I just fundamentally disagree with. I disagree with the assumptions about the types of questions we're asking, why we're asking them, and why they're important, the approaches that we are taking, and also the assumptions about like the foundational objects of our study, being human beings and human social interaction. So I really appreciate that I'm in a program where like a lot of the like professors are I'm very aligned with them on like these core things. Like it is clear to us what exactly it is that we're doing. We're actually studying human beings versus a lot of economics is like studying stick figures. That's what I would call them, stick figures, hypothetical people that don't actually exist in the real world. That's a discussion for another video. I have my notes here, so I'm going to be referencing them. But the classes I'm taking this semester are theory of the market process, which is just understanding how human beings, when they're actually pursuing their desires, what like that process actually looks like for different parts and factors of the larger economy. I personally have a problem with using the word economy. We're gonna flesh all of that out like on this channel. I'm taking economic development, which is the whole reason why I went into a PhD program in the first place, because I'm really interested in thinking about, I think I said in my video yesterday. I don't like using the term development, but I'm gonna use it so that people understand what I'm talking about. And then after I say it the first time, I'm not gonna say it again. But I'm very interested in how, more specifically, like people and communities on the African continent, but just in general, because it's generally applicable, how they can experience like structural transformation in their economies and the things that they have available to them to actually pursue their desires. And typically in the field that is like economic development, typically. And I think I'm trying to focus on that one because that's what I was thinking about when I came in. I was like, I want to do development, but also because development is one of those it's one of those fields of economics that is very, like, it has a very strong application like side of it. Like there are certain parts of economics it's very like it's academic, like it's just academic, or it primarily exists within academia. And then there are those that exist strongly in academia, but like even more strongly like in practice. And development is one of those fields. And they're making a mess. They've been making a mess for a long time. And so I'm very interested in joining those discussions about what it is we're doing, why, and why we're going about it the way that we are, and providing another perspective of how we can go about answering the question and answering the question and actually taking action on structural change within the social organization that people have to pursue their desires. So, and then the last class that I'm taking is institutional economics, which is basically, how do I explain it? My brain is like, I'm so tired, I'm so hungry. Institutional economics is, how do I explain it? It's like explaining the background on which like the game or the play of economics like is staged. So what are like, I'm not gonna get into it, a different video. This is just like an intro video. But those are the 3 classes I'm taking this semester. And those, all 3 of those things are directly tied to how I understand and conceptualize economics and the economy and how people go about pursuing their desires. So I'm very excited about that. I'm really happy with all the professors that I have. I'm very excited to get into arguments with my classmates and discussions, and to talk more with these professors about my interests and what it is I may be writing for my dissertation and other papers that I can write along the way. Everything was so clear in my mind when I was writing this out, but now I actually have to use like my energy to speak. I'm so tired. Okay, so I have on here being an economist. So I'm gonna like, I think it's interesting thinking about like what economics is and what exactly economists do. I think we first have to define economics in order to answer that question. But I think it's interesting thinking about it from different perspectives, like philosophically or phenomenologically. I don't know what that word is. What is economics? And then, thus, what is it that economists do as a result of that? And then, actually, within the economy itself, what purpose does economics or economists solve for people within the economy? Because from an economic perspective, the only reason why an institution that allows people to study these certain things exists is because it serves a useful purpose for other people within society. And that's a question I've been thinking about a lot because my approach to economics is not currently what a lot of people outside of economics are looking, or even within economics, are looking for. Like, I'm thinking about it from like a business perspective. Like when you're offering something, you're offering it to people who want it. Like there's demand for the thing that you're trying to supply. The demand for the type of economics that I'm doing is not very high. And I think it's really interesting to think about like the economics of the economic field. Specifically because economics as a field has very large implications for social organization. um, yeah, and how we organize our societies, the way that people conceptualize society, and like their ability to do the things that they want, pursue their desires, coordinate and collaborate like with other people. And I think the way we go about answering those questions is very important. Is very important towards that goal. And so because like again, I'm interested in pursuing development economics, but development is one of those fields that's like very practice heavy. And typically when you go from like academia to like practice, academia is a space where you can literally just like talk about ideas, and we're just talking about ideas. We're throwing them out there. We're exploring things. We're trying to explain things. Like it's messy. It's an active discussion that's happening about ideas. When you go to practice, you have to make a decision about which ideas you're going to put into practice. People don't always explain why they're doing it, but you take like let's say there's like 100 ideas that are currently being discussed about a certain topic, right? People that are in practice are going to take maybe like three of them and then apply it and go. And they're not actively engaged in the discussion that is going on because the discussion does not seem to serve their purpose for whatever it is they're doing out there. And so a lot can be happening and developing within the discussion that the practitioners have no idea about. Like there can be an inefficient way that they're pursuing something that has already been discussed or is being discussed in academia, but because of their focus on pursuing this thing, they're sticking to an old method that is not it's not doing what it's supposed to do, but they don't realize it because they're not actually involved in the academic discussion. I think that's another thing that I'd probably be interested in is like the connection between the discussion place and the actual implementation and practice place. Um, so why did I say that? Oh, so as like someone who's interested in studying economic transformation fundamentally, and with it being a very heavy like practice, is it? I don't even remember. It's like mirrored, so I don't remember. But it being a very like heavy practitioner field, I was like thinking a lot about like what am I going to do like after I get my degree? What type of organization do I want to go into? Do I want to do academia? Do I want to go to a think tank? Do I want to work at a development organization or other types of like organization? Do I want to do consulting? Do I want to do advisory? Short answer is like yes, I want to do all of it. But when I'm actually marketing myself as an economist, is my approach actually what these different places are looking for? And do I want to subject myself to other people's desires so that I can say I'm a development economist? Or do I also want to have the freedom to just stick by what I believe to be true and just go where that is accepted? And because development is such a heavy like practitioner field, I struggled a bit to see the value of like academia within that, especially because I said this in my video yesterday, but I did not grow up appreciating academia for many reasons. One of them being because I'm a natural born intellectual. So I come up with my own ideas. I've been doing it my whole life. I just sit and observe and come up with ideas and all these things. So the appeal of, I guess, like engaging with academia or academic ideas was never really like strong for me because it's like I already have my own ideas. Like I don't care what you think. I know what I think. But I'm starting to realize that because of my disposition, that is where I belong in the contribution of ideas and not necessarily in the consuming of it. If I naturally am just producing ideas, that's the place where I should be. And I didn't really, it took me a while to see that and to accept that because I was running from it for a very long time. But I actually see the value in it because, like I said, the things that practitioners are doing are, I can't believe I've been talking for 15 minutes. The things the practitioners are doing are based on ideas that are taken from the academic discourse and discussion. What I want to understand is how that happens and how I can position myself for my ideas to be more streamlined into the practice. If you can't tell, I'm a strategically thinking person. So if I'm gonna do so, I have a goal. I have goals for like the things that I do. So if I'm gonna be doing this, I need to figure out how that process happens and the best way to set myself up so that it happens and we can start changing what they're doing because I don't like it. I don't like it and it needs to change. Um anyways, so yeah, I have kind of decided, I mean, I'm just started my second year, so I got 3 more years to go. But I'm accepting the fact that I'm probably going to end up in a more I'll have at least like one foot in like the academic discourse space just so that I have time to start like I have time and freedom to flesh out my ideas and my perspectives in a way that is logically coherent, in a way that makes sense, in a way that can actually be applied, um, and in a way that is understandable for a mass like group of people. Which goes to the next thing. One thing I really want to take like seriously, and this is one of the reasons why I didn't like academia, is because it can be very elitist, and academics can be out of touch with the everyday reality of people because they are a certain class within society and they are limited to certain experiences and perspectives and ways of thinking that don't always include um, the experiences of everybody or the people that they are talking about or studying. And so that's one of the reasons why I ran away from it, which is probably one of the reasons why I should go into it, is so that I can start changing the tide and be that person that is constantly thinking about the people on the ground and what they are experiencing and like putting that at the forefront of my work. And towards that goal, one of the things that I want to take very seriously is being a public intellectual. Everything that I do as a scholar is for the people and to improve their experience. And in order to do that, we need to be in conversation. I think academia is very isolated. I don't think it's inherent. Like, I don't think it was designed to be like exclusive. I think that just is the way that it happened. I think there's an economics, like a historical economic reason why it ended up happening. However, our situation is different. Like, now it doesn't cost people a lot to like leave their job and go and sit and have discussions all the time about these things, like especially in like societies like the one that I live in the United States, where people have, I mean, even other societies, people have access to information like it's air. Like it's literally air. You have access to information, and once you have access to information, you have access to discussion and discourse, especially with the way the internet is set up. So then I'm thinking about like back in the days being like ancient Greece, where the philosophers were just like literally going into the town square and started talking, and then people like come around them. I think the internet has kind of like brought that back, and I think academia needs to start going back into the public square and actually discoursing with the people they are talking about, especially for social and humanities like academia. Like, we need to be talking with the people and not just like with each other because we're talking about the people. And also just like my own personal political philosophy, I like for people to be informed and engaged when it comes to things that affect their life. And economics is life. It affects it. I was gonna say it affects every decision that you make, but it quite literally is every decision um, that you make, or it explains it, or it studies it. And I would like to contribute to people's understanding about it and people's thinking about it, particularly because, like I said, my personal political philosophy is based on people being informed and people being engaged, which affects how I think about economics. And I think about like when I think about structural transformation, I'm thinking about it coming from like within. And those who are within are the regular people. And the things that cause like situations to change is the decisions that they make. And the things that cause people to make different decisions is the knowledge that they have available to them, the perceptions they have about the world and their place in the world, and also the skills they have in order to act on those things. And I want to contribute to that because I have certain goals for society that I want to see. And genuinely, I think the most effective way to do that is just to talk to the people and to change the way they think and the perceptions that they have because it'll directly translate into the actions that are then going to ripple throughout the rest of society. So that's one thing that I want to focus on as I am becoming an economist. It's going to be a very core part of my identity as a scholar. And I'm excited. So obviously this is like one of the things is my YouTube channel. I also have a Substack and maybe like LinkedIn as well. I'm still figuring it all out. YouTube is the easiest one for me to do because I literally just come on here and talk and then press post and it goes up. But yeah, okay, what else? Um, I've covered a lot of these actually. Okay, so we're gonna get into. Oh, before I get into that, I think specifically for me as an individual. So we've talked about like economics as a larger field and like its use in society, and I'll probably do a specific video on that, talking about that a little bit more. But and then I've talked about like the specific field that like I'm in. Again, I'll do more specific videos on these things. But me as an individual, me as an individual, my particular um my particular comparative advantage, I guess, which I think I really need to like lean into it. And I think it's gonna come up like as I start having more discussions in class and like with my professors and stuff. But I think the things that make my perspective and approach unique is that I have actually pursued entrepreneurship and business. I specifically within the realm of finance, and I am naturally a philosophical person. Philosophical being that I'm constantly asking questions and trying to understand things at a very fundamental level. So as I'm like learning about finance, I'm asking those questions. As I'm pursuing business and doing entrepreneurship, I'm asking those questions. And the reason why I think that gives me a very unique approach to economics is because, ironically, most economists never work in business or study finance, which is like ridiculous because, like, that is literally the foundation, literally the foundation of our entire modern economic system is business and finance. And if you've ever worked like in business or you've ever studied not just finance in general, but I specifically mean personal finance. If you've ever worked in like business or studied personal finance and you step into economic discussions, you're going to hear things, you're going to hear people say things that are clearly wrong based on your experience because the set of experiences and information that these people are working off of do not include that because they have not been exposed to it. So I think that uniquely like positions me to be able to talk about those things confidently because I have done it myself and because I was doing it, I was spending a whole lot of time thinking about it and understanding it from that perspective. And so yes, I'm going to become like a entrepreneurship and personal finance tyrant within the field of economics because I absolutely find it ridiculous that like economists will be talking about business and have one never worked in business because they've probably been academics their whole life or never even like talked to a business owner. They're just making stories. What they're doing is mythology. They're doing mythology. Sorry. I just need to rank. I just find it ridiculous. I think every economist needs to apprentice at a business for a year, like at a small business specifically for a year and actually understand like what's going on. Um Anyways, yeah, so I think that's like my comparative advantage and what I will be bringing to the field and the things that I will be highlighting. And I just want to, this video is long, but I want to start making hope. It depends on like my energy level, but I'm thinking about these things all the time. So I'm constantly having things to talk about. So I might end up being on here like every day. But I want to start like I was already doing this on the channel, but publicly building my just philosophy on life. That's why it's called Gymsology. But my economic philosophy. And so we're just gonna end this video with that. Literally, there's probably gonna be like 2 people that watch this video, but I'm hoping like over time as I start like making these like sharing these more publicly and people find my channel and stuff, I would have developed like a lot of backlog of videos that people can go back and reference and all that. But I want to end this video just kind of talking about my core, like the foundation that is going to inform a lot of things that I'm going to be talking about when it comes to economics. So, economics as a field is inherently an interdisciplinary endeavor or enterprise. I like using the word enterprise. Economics is inherently an interdisciplinary enterprise. And I particularly think that economics is the most interdisciplinary social science that there is. Um, I can get into that like in another video, but that's like my personal belief. Because of what I was talking about like early in this video, we make a lot of assumptions about things. But because most economists are not trained in like fields like anthropology, psychology, sociology, political science, philosophy, they don't realize they're making assumptions about things. They think that this is just reality, like this is just what it is, or like if you're going to be an economist, you have to accept like these assumptions and then go from there. As a natural born philosopher, why would I do that? Why would I do that? We're constantly asking questions. Um, and so my approach to economics has to start with examining these fundamental foundations. Anthropology being what is a human being? Quite simply, because we are studying human beings and human action and human like collective society, social organization. So we first need to we need to define what it is that we are studying. We need to define what a human being is. Anthropology. We are studying human action, human decision, how human beings make decisions. That is psychology. Okay. Then we are studying how they do that within social organization, political science, sociology. And then we are building theories based on those foundations of those things. If you're building a theory about anything and you're trying to explain the world that you live in, philosophy. That's how you do it. So anytime I'm making a video, I'm gonna try and do this to just like discipline myself because this is also I'm gonna become a tyrant about this like in the field as well. I think most of the debates that are being had within economics are not economic at all. I don't think they're economic at all. I actually think they are more political and philosophical in nature. But again, economists are not trained in politics and philosophy in order to be able to notice when the discussion they're having is not about economics. And so in the video that I'm going to do, I want to be very explicit about like, I'm making a claim or an assumption about anthropology. And this is why I'm doing it. And these are the results that we get when we do that. I'm making a claim about psychology. I'm making a claim about sociology. I'm making a claim about political science. Or these are my philosophical leanings. This is why. And let's see where we get like from here. Hopefully, along the way, you guys can kind of like pick up just the way that I think about things and approach problems. And yeah, I want this to be collaborative as it can be. I am the person posting the content. If you are watching it, all you can do really is type a response, or you can make your own YouTube channel and make a response video. That's why I like TikTok actually, because you can make a video and then somebody can stitch it in response. I feel like that's like perfect for academia. I feel like academics should be on TikTok, but it's a different discussion. They love Twitter because of that, but modern age, let's get on TikTok. So yeah, that's gonna be my approach. I wasn't expecting to talk for 30 minutes, but anyways, I'm gonna end this video. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I'm excited to go on this journey. Bye.